Good morning, it's Morning Oasis. This is Jessie Dujari with Healing Pathwalkers. Let's see, it's Monday, the first day of the new year. Welcome to 2017. May it be better than 2016 in the sense that, man, we don't suffer so much. You can probably hear I've got a bit of a head cold. I'm actually recovering today. You might hear me still coughing some. Tiffany Stiles did an energy report update for the energies coming through over the weekend, and one of them was head and chest congestion clearing out the old. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm right there. Let's see. This morning I have two card pulls that I'm going to do. Excuse me. One of them is for Jante, and the other one is for Teresa. So let me get my cards out. And soothe that throat a little. Let's see. Jante, what kind of deck wants to talk with you? The Energy Oracle. Yeah, Shauna, man, this is rough. This one is, whew. Last night was actually my first night in three nights where I slept almost the whole way through. And I've been excuse me, waking up with my mouth so dry because my sinuses are so congested and I can't breathe while I'm sleeping. So I've been waking up with my mouth just, so dry. And then it's like my throat, I'm coughing because it feels just like it's been dried out all night. And I drank lots of salt water this morning, but still coming out of it. All right, so Jante, I see you're here. Good morning. And let's see what kind of card we've got for you. I wonder how the weather is over there. Oh, hello, Gidget. You're welcome. Nice to see you here. Welcome in. Let's see. All right, so Jante, let's see. Aww. This feels a little bit like it might be for everybody. Well, you got the Angel of Love card. Now, the Angel of Love comes in when it is time to really work on and heal that part of our hearts that is ready to get ourselves into a space of love and acceptance, into a space of not only loving ourselves, but loving others. Teresa, yeah, I can definitely. Is it cold in France? Well, it started snowing in Salem for Shauna. She's just a few miles south of us, and it's not snowing here yet, but it is chilly, so it's cold there. All right. Let me write your name down, Teresa, so I don't forget. Okay, so the Angel of Love, you guys. She comes in because we, right now, if you follow my work at all, then you've experienced the Heart Bridge meditation. That if you haven't, it's on our YouTube channel. The Heart Bridge meditation is all about, we essentially connect to the ground, to Gaia, through our root chakra. We connect to Source through our crown chakra, and we connect to each other through our heart chakra. Our heart chakra is how we connect. Good morning, Ignacio. Gidget, I'll put you down for tomorrow because I try to do about 3 pulls in the morning as our first opening while people are coming in and we're all waking up, but I'd be happy to do that tomorrow. Thank you, Ignacio. Or gracias. So, with the Angel of Heart, Angel of Love, opening up that heart with intention, right? Opening up that heart with a focus. So when you're interacting with others, when that interaction feels in any way stressed or strained, opening up that heart more. One of the things that we are taught in our culture, or we learn through our, upbringing and through that old system that we're kind of shifting out of, was when we're scared, we close our hearts and we hide away and we pull back, especially if we're empathic at all. The idea of opening up to something that already feels big and overwhelming is really quite scary. As an empath who used to have pretty severe anxiety, social anxiety, I was not agoraphobic. I could get out, but it was hard, you know. I remember my husband, I don't drink really, but my husband used to take me for a cocktail right before we go to the to a concert, because it was really the only way he could get me through the door. You know, it was so overwhelming being in those settings. And now not only do I not have a problem going to concerts, I enjoy and look forward to settings where there's 50,000 people in an audience, or 20,000 people. We go to some pretty big stadium like shows, and when you are connecting in to all of those people with your heart wide open, and they're unconscious about it, but they're wide open too because they're there for the music, it becomes a chorus of the heart. And I will tell you that I've been to a lot of concerts. As my husband saves birthday presents, Christmas presents, Father's Day presents for concert shows, because he knows I don't really like to go very much, or I used to not like going, so that's kind of become our deal. So we go to a lot of shows, a lot of concerts. And when I am consciously opening my heart, connecting with consciousness to the others there, to the ones on the stage, to those listening outside, to those working in the center. When I connect in with all of them, not only is my experience of the concert so much better, so much more enjoyable, but I have heard performers comment on those shows where they say, "Oh my God, an incredible night tonight." And performers don't always say that, actually, you know, that's not necessarily how it goes. But like, for instance, we went and saw Imagine Dragons, and that was one of my most powerful experiences, connecting in with them. Those dudes are already channeling some consciousness energy while they're playing music. If you've heard their music, you're probably aware. But that was one of the most powerful shows. Now, when I have forgotten, or when I'm in a space where I feel like I already have to close my heart, or my heart is already closed, those tend to be not so fun concerts. I'm not enjoying them. The performers don't seem like they're as on. And that's not to say that, you know, we have to remember, what is this? What is this creation? Well, this is my creation. Right now, you are observing my creation. I get to create what I want. Most of the time it's unconscious, it's pre-programmed, and it's happening on an autopilot nature. So, yeah, they are serving me in my creation, and they are reacting in my creation, because it is a co-creation at that point. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that kind of stuff. But Angel of Love is to remind you to open up your heart when you're feeling that need to protect. Open it up more. Open and send that love out, and open and receive what comes in, knowing that your heart has the ability and capacity to translate it into whatever it is that you need. As it passes through you, you don't have to hold it. It can go right through, but you then are connected into this with these people. We're too isolated, too rejecting each other at too many points in our culture, and there's a reason for that. It's been taught to us to do that, and our culture's been created in that way because it keeps us weaker. You know, divided we fall, right? United we stand, divided we fall. Same concept. All right, so Teresa, you asked for a card pull this morning, and let me see. Not the energy cards. Oh, the Thoth Tarot wants to talk to you, Teresa. Let's see. And this is another one. You know, one of the reasons I do these card pulls in the morning is because so often, oh, and by the way, there's two Teresas that requested a card pull from me. So I should just clarify. This one is for Teresa Wolf Sylvia. And then Teresa Brunel. I'll do yours in just a moment. So this one is the Chariot. The Chariot is a powerful representation, because the Chariot, here's this guy, right? he's all ready. He's there, but he's not really going anywhere. There's no motion, right? He's not in an action. And with the Chariot, what the concept is that you have two driving forces in your life, two passions, and they're both not figuring out yet how to work together. You know, one of the things, I grew up on a horse farm, and I used to show and jump, do hunter jumper, and I didn't do much driving of teamwork with horses. But when you do drive with a team, the first thing you have to do is get that team working together. You know, the horses are powerful and they can rip apart the rigging and rip apart the chariot even, if in reference to the chariot in this. They can tear apart the vessel, the vehicle with which you travel, if you aren't both respecting these driving forces, as well as getting them to work together, finding that route that both work. So right now is a time of figuring out how to bring those energies together. For me, personally, I can relate to this card because I'm working on how do I balance my family with my work, right? Service work and path work becomes all-consuming. It becomes all-engrossing. And for about the last 3 years, it has been my life. It's taken over in many ways. And my family didn't get the same prioritization. And so we have grown apart as a family. And right now we're working towards coming together and bringing that energy together to work forward. And it's actually empowering me more. It's making me feel more confident in my work, making me feel more confident in myself. It's part of clearing out the old, right? That's this new year transition. So it's time, Teresa, to figure out how to get these things to work together, these two driving forces to pull you forward instead of to drive you apart, right? Instead of one pulling you one way and the other another. Okay, and Teresa Brunel, I believe was the last name for the other one who requested, and then we'll move right into the conversation. Ganesh wants to talk to you, Teresa. It was funny this morning, you guys. I was able to blow my nose for the first time. It was like heaven. Oh, heaven. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. So remember, I don't use the Ganesh deck very often. So I'm going to check out what they say in here also. A part of reason of doing this with the cards. But this one is Promise of the Future. It's a beautiful card. I'm going to try and, I mean, it's so bright. And the light is pretty bright right now too. So Promise of the Future. It's the number 8 card. A lot of people are numerologically referencing things as well. 8 is the number of abundance. So in here, rest assured something new is on the horizon. All indications of favoring a time of new awareness. Seek new outlets for your creative expression. This heralds the beginning of a new phase in your life, and Ganesh is asking you to take time to reflect on your desires and your dreams. It's time that you begin down the road of a new creative endeavor. You know, I think right now a lot of people are experiencing this. Yes, Ignacio, I agree. A lot of people are experiencing this concept of a promising new future, shifting into something new. Perhaps you already have a project and it seems like its energy has kind of stalled out. Well, that's what's going on right now. We're set on a path to come closer in, right? So we're in this hot and cold game with ourselves of trying to find what is it that we came here to actually do. So in that hot and cold game, sometimes we're not led to where we're supposed to go, but we're led to where the next point to ask, am I hot or cold is? And so right now, it's time to transition that into a whole new project and allow the energies to do so. I'm finding that happening in my Healing Pathwalkers business as we've transitioned away from doing live class feeds into doing this show, recorded meditations, and actually offering again services rather than focusing on teaching. I'm recognizing a lot of people are just wanting the services, and they have their own process, their own path. So right now is that time of playing with the energy. What is it that's going on? Beckoning back to the chariot, which we got in the beginning, and again coming into the open of the heart. Open up that heart and see what it is. What's in there? What's wanting to come out? What's wanting to be created? So all that said puts us pretty well into what I wanted to talk about today. So today we're talking about channeling. You know, people ask me this all the time. What is channeling? And you know, when you try to describe even what it is that you do, right? So like on the back of my card, for instance, what do I put as who I am? What do I label myself? What do I do? I'm a human being and I'm using the vessel the way that it can be used. Well, that doesn't really tell anybody much if they're not aware of what the vessel's capable of doing. You're welcome, Teresa. So for me, my back of my card says empathic, intuitive, psychic healer, and a teacher, learner, medium, and minister. And I took off channel because nobody knew what that meant. So we're going to just go on a campaign of education, okay? What is channeling? People ask me this literally all the time. What does that mean? What is that about? What's happening there? And this is the deal. First of all, right now, you're channeling. I'm channeling, you're channeling. What we're channeling is ourselves, our consciousness through our vessel of our body. Our consciousness is a stream of energy. And when you start tapping into energy and you start grounding and connecting and having that communication with your higher self, this becomes really clear. It's not imaginative, it's not figurative, it's not metaphorical. It's pretty clear. It's like a strand of energy coming out of you. You can think of it like the energetic version of your DNA, right? And actually, your DNA is the physical version of your energetic strand. Hence, it comes in a strand. So what's happened is your vessel is pre-programmed. It's preset in the DNA for this vessel to only be on this channel. It's like an emergency radio beacon that only broadcasts on this channel of you. And that's how it works. And we go about our business and we don't even think about it. But sometimes something happens to us and it's not us inside of ourselves, right? A lot of people have experienced this where they're talking to a friend and it's a deep subject and all of a sudden these deep truths are coming out of us and we're all like, man, that was good. I don't know where that came from, but I needed to hear that. That's channeling. That's channeling either your higher self or tapping into that other person's when you're in that moment of sharing, of coming together of this information, that shared need that you have, calling in the information or calling in a guide that's here to bring that for you by your shared frequency, amplifying and making it so your vessel can hear and receive. And sometimes we completely let ourselves channel, lose it, and that looks like to people like a possession or, gosh, there's so many different ways that can look. Forgive me for the cold. So what happens is that as you start doing consciousness work, as you start to tap more into source energy, tap more into Gaia's energy, and tap higher and higher into your own consciousness, remembering more and more of who you are, what you came here to do, your vessel, that little switch that says you only are programmed for Jesse, gets turned off. And once you consciously turn it off, then you can open up. And you literally can tune into just about anybody, anything, anyone, anytime, any place. Energy is timeless, spaceless. It doesn't take any time for my energy from where I'm recording right now to travel to you watching it right now. If I were to start projecting heart energy towards you, and this is why those meditations are so powerful when you do them with me here, because I'm projecting my energy out towards you, and you can feel it. You can feel yourself ground more fully. That's part of my gift, is people, when they're hearing my voice being guided through, they ground. They really ground in. They really open up. The energy flows through far more. And oftentimes I've had people say after they're away from me, they don't have the same effect, they don't have the same experience, so they don't keep it up. Well, the more you do it on your own, you will eventually be able to feel that way on your own. Feel the strength of that. So that's one of the reasons that I decided to do this Morning Oasis program, is the more I help you connect and ground and connect, then the more you're able to channel that energy through you. So I also wanted to talk about, how so many of us who are here right now and are on this kind of riding this wave of consciousness shifting, we often come from extremely traumatic backgrounds. Most of us have some sort of hardship that has driven us into a quest for deeper awakening of self, deeper awakening of understanding, recovery. Why is that? Why do we have to have these hard lives? A lot of the people that I work with, my heart breaks for what they've had to experience. Even though I know they set it up for themselves, I set my experiences up for myself. And part of this healing process is that process of forgiving ourselves for having set this up, for having created whatever that hardship may be, whether it's an external hardship based on somebody's behavior towards us, or an internal hardship and a lack of acceptance of self, and having to come through that struggle of figuring out, what am I? Who am I? How can I come more fully into myself? So we tend to have these environments that are unstable, that have layers of abuse, that have abandonment issues. Because what that does is it teaches us to not anchor ourselves in that moment. It actually fractures the persona state. A lot of times it's considered a dissociative disorder, or mostly dissociative disorders. But when we have that fractured persona state, we're open, and channeling happens, but we're not consciously in control of it. It's a damaged state. It's like a crack in the dam, so the energies are just flowing through. Well, what would it look like if, instead of looking back at those past times and going like, oh my God, that person totally broke my dam. Like, they cracked me wide open. They broke my vessel. And in that space of victimhood, yes, they did. Yes, your vessel got cracked. Yes, it was painful. Yes, it was a horrible experience. But what if you called them upon you to crack that vessel? What if why you wanted that to have happen was so that, one, you would know how to put back together a vessel, and two, you would never forget that you could channel energy through you. You could flow it through you. That your identity could hold more than one consciousness. That you could connect in more with others. Your compassion was deepened. In order to be able to do this kind of work, you must have deep compassion, deep connection to others, and a deep well of experience in order to be able to hold those vibrations of pain without it breaking you. One of the things I remember when I was first starting to do this work, my former teacher, she said to me, you have to be very careful because you have experienced trauma to a point that others have not. And if you're unconscious about it, you can easily hurt others by sharing your experiences. And what I realized was, one, I was hurting her, right? She was having her trauma triggered by that. And two, that's part of my job. The people that I work with, my life experience does not sound that bad. They're kind of like, oh, wow, I wouldn't have minded that. Because their lives are that much worse, right? The trauma's that much more extreme, that much more severe. Had I not gone through what I went through, I wouldn't be strong enough to support and help those people. And who would, right? I'm perfectly set up for my role, perfectly set up for the people who are drawn to me to work with me directly. I'm perfectly prepared for that. There's absolutely nothing a client could tell me in a session that would throw me off. I have compassion enough and strength enough in myself to open up my heart and allow those feelings to come through so I can really help them flow those emotions. All of that is channeling work. That's what it is. I'm tuning into and channeling on their line, their energy strand, as much as I can, recognizing that they're with me because I share something with them. And we both are now working together in this space of healing. And that's the beautiful thing about healing work, right? That's why it's a draw. That's why it's really hard to create that sharing of space, the balance with the rest of our lives. So the other piece of why is it so hard for people like us, because there's another piece, and that just depends on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go and you want to believe in that. But the other piece of that is we are living in a system right now that is very much afraid of falling apart. There's been a control mechanisms in place for a very long time, thousands of years, to keep us divided, to keep us forgetting that we are creator beings, that we all are the creator being. So these control mechanisms come in many forms. They come in our media, right? They come through in our news programmings, in our television shows, in our movies, with these ideas and thoughts. Have you ever wondered why there are so many scary alien movies or invasion movies coming out over the last few decades? Those start to come out around the time that we get contacted. Why is that? Why are they trying to scare the pants off us right before we get contacted? Maybe so we won't connect so much with them. Fear, remember, closes our heart. And if our heart's closed, then when that alien comes up to us, we're already closed. We're not letting them in. And if we're closed and not letting them in, we can't recognize how we are the same. They're in one vessel, we're in a different vessel, but we're all the same. The same is true. We can't recognize when you step into the face of another who is opposed to your viewpoints or in opposition to your lifestyle or whatever it may be, challenging you. We can't see that that's us, that is ourselves across the way, asking us to look at ourselves again and see if, can I love you now? Can I love you now? Is this okay? Can I be this and will you still love me? Can I be this far away from you, this divided from you, and will you still accept and love me? Those control mechanisms come in because if we don't love and accept each other, well, we're much easier to control. We're much easier to keep on that baited carrot line running after something. Baited carrot being merchandise, right? Things to spend our money on, things to try to soothe that closed heart space, which is unsoothable until you open the heart and allow it to flow again. Is the only way I've found. So when we look at the environment that we grew up in, especially people who are going to be drawn to doing this kind of work, that are drawn to feeling this kind of energy, when we look at those environments, we stop looking at them, especially as we move down further this road of understanding and awareness. We stop looking at them so much through that victimhood filter of what happened to us. And we start to look at them instead of what we have created for ourselves. I know that I created for myself the exact perfect environment in which to become an open channel. Sometimes there are channelers who are like me, who just kind of open up and it flows through, the information flows through, and then I move back on and I'm back into Jessie mode. But some channeling is much more than that. It's where you completely shut out your own persona state. Like it's like you put your own consciousness strand over here and you say, okay, the vessel is clear of this consciousness, and you open up and bring in a whole other consciousness. Now those kind of channelers, they amaze me. They are fascinating, and they serve their own kind of role. They allow people to access the information who don't believe humanity could possibly hold it. Right? They have given up on humanity. They're kind of like disillusioned with the whole thing. And so, yeah, having some other being from another consciousness, like there's some people who are channeling star consciousnesses, there are some people who are channeling other ET consciousnesses, there are some people who are channeling angelic consciousnesses. I channel an angelic consciousness at times. She just comes through and takes over, and she used to fry out my computer electronics whenever she'd come into the vessel. So that's amazing. Those are amazing experiences. But that's not, you don't have to hold that as your idea if that's what channeling is. Because that's like saying, if you can make one of those amazing little pastry things that are so complicated, I look at and have no concept of how they do it, and think that's what baking is, why bother? Why even try? Well, then you're missing out on cookies and pies and sweetbreads and amazing fun things. So allowing yourself to not become overwhelmed with the concept in the first place, right? So we hear channeling, a lot of people just tune out. They're like, oh, that's way too far out there. I can't go that far. I don't want to talk to aliens. I don't even know what that's about. I've had a lot of people express these concerns and questions to me about that. But the truth is, you're channeling right now. You're channeling you. You're channeling yourself. And as soon as that becomes a reality for you, you can start tuning into other consciousnesses. So, all that said, that puts us in perfect timing and alignment to start our meditation. And I thought what we could do is play with the concept of channeling a little bit in the meditation. As always, they're guided, so I don't really know what's going to come through. They're channeled. So we shall see. You're welcome, Shauna. It's that question that just keeps coming. So make sure you're sitting comfortable. I'm going to take a sip of coffee because my throat is so dry. All right. If you need to adjust your body at all in order to get comfortable, go ahead. Make sure that, try to do things like you're sitting squarely, body parts aren't really crossed over each other. And that, again, is up to you. Some people feel really comfortable in a lotus position, all folded up on themselves. I like to be open and in allowance of things to come through. So I'm going to scoot back a little bit because I'm by a bookshelf. There's something at my feet, which I'm not wanting there. All right, there we go. Okay, so go ahead and take a few deep breaths, bringing that breath into the body. And exhale. Bringing the breath in this present moment. Smell the smells, feel the texture of the air, the temperature of the air, excuse me. There's a texture too. Breathing in that present moment. And as you exhale, release the thoughts that you've had today, what it is that you have to do after this. Just release the rest of your day like little hooks unhooking. Breathing in, present moment. And as you exhale, release those little hooks from everything that's already happened so far today or yesterday. Just releasing. And bringing all those parts of the self that are stretched to the future and the past back in to the present, into the now. Good. You guys are all getting so quick at this and so good at it. Breathing in this present moment. And as you exhale, I want you to release those expectations of yourself, the hooks that you put in yourself to hold you in these places, in this way of being. Just unhook those for this time. And relax. Now begin to feel those roots in your feet. Feel how already your feet feel a little tingly. Grow those roots down, sending them wide and deep. Remember that a tree's root structure mirrors its foliage, its canopy. So whatever your tree is like, the roots need to be wide and deep. Okay. Feel how that energy is already starting to move up the legs, through the shins and calves and ankles. It's already starting to move up through the body. Just allow. Let it keep flowing up. Feel how it's now in the knees and thighs, coming up through that seat. Just allow, just like the ocean scrubs away the beach, let this energy of Gaia scrub away, cleanse and release from the body. Feel how it's transitioned up, coming up through the abdomen now, coming up through that root chakra, into that sacral space, into that womb space, that creation space inside of us all. Getting so much more congested through this. Interesting. Feel how the energy is flowing up, coming up through the abdomen, starting to reach that solar plex space in the belly. Bringing that energy up, letting it come and rise. Up into that heart space, the diaphragm, coming up. We got a lot to clear out from the heart, so feel it swirling around in there and cleansing and releasing. Opening up that heart, just allowing. Bringing it up into the shoulders, out through the arms, all the way out until it's projecting out through our palms. And loop that energy back, feeling it going up through the neck and throat, through that spine, up through the head. We're going through that throat chakra, through the sixth chakra, up through the head, through the pineal gland. I'm going to really bring it through my sinuses because Oh, that's better. Up through the crown, feeling it bundle at that top of the crown until the crown just wants to open up. And letting that Gaia energy carry us up into source as we connect, seeking that source connection and an allowance, right? This is one of those knowing it'll flow. There it is. Feeling that source consciousness energy now coming down through that connection, coming down through the crown. For me, I'm getting a little bit of achy spots in certain areas of my head, so really focusing that energy to flow to those spaces as we bring it down. Feeling its different vibration, higher frequency. Bringing it down, letting it fill the body, fill that crown and sixth chakra, fill that throat chakra, down, feeling it projecting down through the hands, sending that source energy out, that loving source energy. Feeling it come down through the heart and lungs. Filling up that space as we release. Our lungs is really where we detox the most. Lungs and skin. Supporting that. Forgive the snuffling. Down through that solar plex, through that sense of personal power. Down through that root. Letting that energy flow down through the legs. Down through the feet. And connecting it into Gaia. And in this state, I want you to take a moment and just feel the body. Notice this total state of calm. If you're having thoughts or feelings or emotions popping up at this point, ground them down. Let them go down the roots. Imagine them just flushing down the roots or riding that current up into source as you're cleansing and clearing the vessel. For some of you, this is your first time grounding and connecting in this way, and just allow that. Release expectations of yourself in this moment or this time. And we're going to use an old tool to help feel this energy better. Ask your body, the vessel that it is, to show you a yes. Feeling that body, the flush of energy in the body, wherever it may be. And asking the body to show you a no. Orienting the vessel, letting it know right now we're opening it up for work. We're putting it in work mode. Now, since what most of us need is to be channeling our higher selves, that's what we're going to do now. I want you to imagine your consciousness is like a spotlight beam, like that spotlight focal point. And right now it's here, or it's, here, maybe it's here. We're just going to find where that consciousness is right now, using our compass. Have we found it? For me, it's like right up in here. I'm kind of up in my crown space because I am open and connecting right now. I'm receiving. So my consciousness is just to the side, but above me. Just take note of that. And imagine that you are opening up this crown even wider, like a receiving funnel. And you're taking this funnel up that strand of consciousness, and you're going all the way up into as high of you as you can find. You're going and looking for you, for your highest attainable consciousness state. And just let yourself go there as this funnel brings you down into you. Spend a little bit of time up there with yourself. Start asking yourself some questions. You can use your compass to strengthen this. Am I connecting with my highest self right now? Yes, I am. Is this as high of my own consciousness vibration as I can reach right now? Yes, it is. Is there anything for me to receive from myself in this state? Yes. I command that to come down through me. I bring that down. I flow that through. Whatever language gives you the permission slip to bring this awareness down. Open and receive from you. If you have a pen and paper nearby, you can write. If you have a recording device, speak it. Some people open channel in different ways. For me, typing. Open up a Word doc and start typing. Just letting whatever it is that has to come out to flow through you. And just allow. Maybe you want to start contemplating that creative project. Maybe you've been pondering a new idea. Bring that idea into the forefront. Look at it from this higher state self. What is there for you? Explore. Notice how, as some information from your higher self is coming through, other aspects of yourself may be feeling discomfort. Maybe you're feeling a pain or an ache or some sort of stress or strain, tension, somewhere in the physical vessel. Tune into that with that highest consciousness, using your compass if you need to ask it questions. What are you here for? What are you showing me? What is it that I need to understand? How is this blocking me? And flow that awareness. Don't resist any of the information that comes to you. Just flow it through. The This is also how, if you want to, you can use this same meditation to connect into other consciousnesses, but I beckon you all to stay with the higher self first until that feels strong, that feels whole, until you can channel that highest self-consciousness effortlessly and as gracefully as you channel this projected consciousness of the here and the now. Go ahead and stay in this state as long as you want. Like I said, try to work on some project or some creative endeavor right now in this state that is you've been looking for some guidance on. Ponder or contemplate some issue that you're feeling challenged in right now. Play with this energy. Stay in this state for as long as you like. I'll see you tomorrow.